The 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player variants of Glass Road are all composed of 4 building periods. The game is over at the end of the 4th building period. At the beginning of each building period, pass the starting goblet to the next player. Make sure that the building board is fully populated, and each player should choose 5 cards from their 15 specialists. Once you've chosen your 5 specialists, put the remaining specialists to the side. They will not be used during this building period. You will only use those 5 cards that you had chosen during this period. These cards compose your hand. In the 3 and 4-player variants, each building period is composed of 3 card rounds. Here we're showing the 3-player variant. For each card round, each player will place 1 card face down in the middle. The rest of the cards compose their hand. In this example, the red player is the starting player. Once all players have placed their card face down, the starting player will flip over their card. In this case, the starting player has chosen to play the Forest Manager. Now, all the remaining players need to check their hands to see if they also have the Forest Manager in their hand, not in the card that they've placed down. If they do, they need to play that card, unless both indentation slots are filled. We'll talk about that in a second. So now the green player will check their hand to see if they have Forest Manager. Since they do have the Forest Manager, they must play that card, and they place it in one of the indentation slots next to their landscape board. The yellow player doesn't have the Forest Manager in their hand, so they don't play that card. In this situation, the green player matched the red player. In this kind of situation, each player gets to play their ability, but they can only play one. They cannot play both abilities. Each player gets to choose which ability they want to play. They're not controlled by what the other player does. So the red player would resolve his specialist, and the green would resolve theirs. Since the red player is finished, they can move that card out of the way, but the green player leaves this card in the indentation space so that you know it's there. Now it's the green player's turn to flip over their card. They use the fuel collector, so both the yellow player and the red player need to check their hand to see if they have the fuel collector. In this case, the red player had the fuel collector in their hand, so they need to place it in their indentation spot. Once again, the green and the red players can each play one action or ability. Notice that even if you play a card, you could choose not to use the ability, but you do have to play the card. The only time you don't play the card is if both indentation spaces are filled. So now the green player removes their card since it's been played, and the yellow player turns over theirs. They have the Forest Manager. So even though red and green had played their Forest Manager before, the Forest Manager for the yellow player was face down, and they did not have to reveal that. You only have to reveal if the card is in your hand. So this is really valuable for the yellow player because they get to play both abilities. However, if you pay close attention, it's the green and the red players have already played 2 cards, but the yellow only gets to play 1 card in this round. So matching has both advantages and disadvantages. Now the yellow player can remove that card out of the way, and that ends the first round of the cards. On the second round, you do the same thing. Each of the players picks one of their specialists and places it face down. Now you reveal and resolve cards, starting with the starting player, again the red player. At the end of 3 rounds, you'll likely have cards remaining because you didn't match every time. And that's how you play the cards for each building period in the 3 and 4-player variants of Glass Road. At the end of each round, pass the starting player goblet to the next player in clockwise order. In the 3-player variant, you pass the starting player goblet to the player that has the fewest buildings on their board. If there's a tie, then you pass it in the clockwise order to the person that's tied. Next, repopulate the building board as appropriate. I hope this video was helpful. Enjoy playing Glass Road.